It's your girl, Janae Nicole, coming to you from beautiful sunny South Florida. I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about your girl being under attack. That's what it boils down to, y'all. For the last 2 weeks or so, I have been under attack, y'all. And I don't mean like people coming after me in a physical sense, but it feels like it sometimes. My site has been under attack, my website. People have been trying to hack my site for the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, I'm just a little fish in a big pond. Why they coming for me? I don't even have, I'm nowhere near some of the big guys out here, but they coming for little old me out of nowhere. And it's just like, how did I even get on their radar and why they want my site? It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going to get into it and, just give y'all some backstory on what's happening. So thank God I actually listened to my favorite guy, of course, Pat Flynn, and took his advice some time ago before I even set up my site. So I knew what to do when I initially set up my website. He said, make sure you install security right away because of this exact scenario. You just have hackers that just want to break into your site to do bad things. No good doers or whatever. But y'all, they have tried to break into my account from Russia, Ukraine. I had a couple from India. Where else? I mean, it's at least 10 different countries. So, it must be a network. Some kind of way they either have a network or they just have IP addresses designated in those areas. But I had over 1,000 attempts on my website in the last 2 weeks to hack my website. Thank God, like I said, I listened to Pat Flynn's advice, and early on when I first started my website, that was one of the first plugins that I put in place, was something to protect my website from people trying to hack in. And just the basic, first steps of changing your username and password, like whatever you do when you set up your website, please, even with social media sites, do not leave your username something as simple as admin or administrator. Like, that's the first thing that they're going to try to guess. They're going to put in the username admin or administrator and try to just guess your password. Please don't fall for that foolery. That's for anything that you do in life and business. You should not have admin or administrator as your username. That's just smart living 101. So to speak. But anyway, I'm like, really? 1,000 times? You really, like, I have it set up so that I get email notified if anybody tries to log in. Even when I log in, I get notified that I logged in on this date and time. As I do it, I could log in right now and I'll get a notification on my phone telling me someone just logged into your site. So that's another thing. If you go with WordPress, there are some sites that you can go with that you don't even have to worry about this. This is already built in. But let's just say for my situation and what's happening with me, first and foremost, like I said, set up some security. It's the first line of defense. When you set up your website, before you even pick out your theme and what you want it to look like, that should be your first plugin that you get. Now, for you, those of you who don't have your website yet and don't have it set up, I know this might be a little bit over your head, but, I just want you to be aware that, write this down so that when you do set it up, you know that you have this in place. And this is not something that's going to cost you a lot of money. Actually, you can get it for free. The service that I use, they have a free version and it's perfectly acceptable. It's really good. It does everything that I'm telling you to do right now. It does all of those things for free. The upgraded version gives you a little bit more security, but you really don't need that unless, of course, once you get to a certain level and it's like, okay, I need to make sure that, I'm really secure. But starting off, the free version is really all you need. It's just enough to know. It'll notify you, just like mine. It notifies you as soon as somebody. You can set it up. You don't have. It doesn't come set like that, but you can set it up to where it notifies you as soon as anybody logs in. The one thing that I love about, I use Wordfence as my security. And the one thing that I really love about it is that you can set it up in the free, even in the free version, you can set it up so that if somebody, say I try to hack into your site from my computer, it takes my IP address, and I have it where the first time you try to log in with admin, so to speak, knowing that's not my username. Anybody that logs in with a username that's not what my username is, it blocks your IP address. So you can never try to log in. You can never try to log in from that computer ever again. It's completely blocked. So I know hackers, they probably have a way around that, but it's a good fail safe, so to speak, for people that are just starting out and you really don't have money to purchase like a big huge security detail for your website. But for free, it does that. And that's where I was getting all the emails from, just that thing. People trying to log in with admin. I would say over half of those thousand, really almost all, I would say probably out of the thousand, I believe over 900 of them, they try to log in with the password admin, and it blocked their IP address. So they can never try to log in from that particular IP address, which is, each computer has its own IP address. I'm not sure if it's the computer itself. I'm not that techie. I'm a tech geek, but I'm not that techie. I'm not sure if the IP address is for the internet service or if it's for the particular computer. But either way, it blocks that computer from ever trying to log in again. Like I said before, don't use admin or administrator as your username. The other thing that Wordfence does is you can limit the login attempt. So I limit mine to one. So if you try to log in with admin, it immediately blocks you and you can never try it again. But even for what my username really is, I can set it up for, if you try it 3 times, you're locked out forever. Or if you're like me and you don't want to be locked out forever, just in case you forget your own password, you can put a set number on there and say, have a grace period, say, 7 attempts or whatever. However many, you can have no limit if you want to, but that's a good thing to have, is, limit the login attempts, especially if anything that's not your username. The other obvious name that you do not want to name your username is your actual name of your website. So like my website is JanaeNicole.com. I'm not going to name my username Janae Nicole. That's a second obvious choice that somebody's going to try to use to break into your website. Don't make it easy for these jokers. Make it something difficult, only that you would know, but don't make it something that's easily guessable. Don't name it the name of your website or the name of your blog, like Fly Girl 22. Don't name it something like that. Name it something that nobody would guess. None of your usernames that you use on social media, none of that kind of stuff. Make it something that only you would know. And speaking to that, same thing with your password. You want to make your password something that's not easily guessable, something that's not easily crackable with these hackers, because they have programs that can just run through a number of random, it's software that they're using. Generally, they're not just typing in, Fly Girl 22, Fly Girl 21, Fly Girl 20. They're not doing that. They have software that just automatically runs through the names and just keeps trying it. So make sure that your passwords are really secure. You want to make sure that you use capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, and mix it up. Don't make it, easy. Make it some small, some cap. I use a password generator for a lot of my sites, and that's wonderful. It's really wonderful. It keeps you having to come having to come up with these crazy passwords. Because let's be honest, we got a password. You need a password for the password these days. You need a password to get in the email. You need a password for every single thing that you do these days. So I recommend Keeper. I think I've talked about it before. I don't remember. I'm on to the next thing. But anyway, I recommend Keeper. There's also it's called keeper.com. It is a password management system, but it also has a functionality that it can generate passwords for you. So when you're setting up your site, you can just generate a really complicated password, and it's really helpful. But the other one that I did hear about, from her name is Shailene Johnson. She actually is one of the like big wigs in social media right now. Like, she's really crushing it. And she actually got hacked. Her social media accounts got hacked. And they were like posting porn on her sites, all kind of foolery. And she was on Social Media Examiner, and she talked about LastPass was one of the things that they talked about on the show, and it does exact same thing. It's a password management system, and it also generates really difficult passwords. So that's another one to look out for. Yeah. So what I was telling you guys was, with the Wordfence plugin, it can block IP addresses. It can block countries. So you can, all those people from Russia that been trying to bust into my account, they blocked. Like, now that's, I believe with that one, it is an upgrade. Like, you have to have an upgraded system for it to block countries. I'll double check on that, and I'll leave it in the show notes. But I'm pretty sure on the upgraded version, you have to have the upgraded version to be able to block countries from being able to access your site. It won't block them to be able to look at your site, but it will block them to be able to log in from, say, Russia or India or Pakistan or wherever. It'll block those countries. So that's really helpful. That's another way to make sure that you're secure. Another thing that I did learn from Shailene Johnson was, I think, how they got into her site was they backdoored in through her email address. So they didn't actually hack her website. They got into her website by backdooring their way into her email address. Because if you think about it, every service that we use, it always asks for your email address, so that if you get locked out or to verify your account, they send you an email. If somebody can access your email, all they have to do is say, "Oh, I'm locked out. Send me, let me reset my password," and then they do it that way. So they always send it to your email. I think that's how they really got into her site. So make sure that even though you've protected your website, and make sure that your password is tight and secure, and making sure that you don't have a super silly easy username. Also, make sure that you keep your email address secure, that you don't click on links, that's obviously spam, or you have a super hard email login as well. Like, don't make it easy for these hackers, because trust me, they will come for you just like they coming for me. And I'm like I said, I'm not a big fish out here. I'm not somebody that's making six figures with my website yet. Why are you trying to bust into my little old website? I'm making a little waves. I'm making ripples right now. Like, I'm dropping little seeds into the pond, so to speak. But they are really coming for me, y'all. They really coming for your girl right now. I just wanted to share that with you all. And for those of you who don't really have your website set up yet, and you're still trying to figure this whole thing out, I wanted to make it understandable for you. So think of your website as like your store. If you had a physical location where people could come in and purchase goods and things like that. So think of your website in those terms. So if you don't have your website secure, this is how serious it is. Think of it like, okay, you have a storefront, you have some actual real estate downtown, wherever you live, and you don't even you don't lock the doors, you don't put no security, anything in place. So at night when y'all close up shop, y'all just leave. So you just wide open. Anybody could walk in at any time of night and just take. You don't have no security cameras. You don't have no locks on the door. Think of it in that. Think of it in that sense that you would not leave your physical business open and vulnerable to theft and destruction. You would lock it. You would put security cameras in place. You would have certain things in place to protect your business. So that think of it that way. And as far as social media goes, think of that as your front door to your business or your storefront. So you wouldn't, you would still protect the storefront as well. You would have cameras out there, things like that. So that if somebody came and put graffiti on your storefront, or if somebody did, you would have things in place to be able to say, oh, we got pictures of them. This is who did it or whatever. You will put things in place to protect your storefront because that's your brand image. You wouldn't just leave it to chance that if somebody came and graffitied your shop up. You don't know who did it. They could just, you clean it up, they do it again tomorrow. So that's how I want you to think of your website and your social media in the sense of protection and why you should have this protection in place. If my little old website is already trying to get hacked into at this early in the game, just imagine, a year from now where I'll be, that why they would want to break in. And that's another thing. Somebody asked me, well, why are they trying to break in? And the small and short of it is they don't have nothing else to do. A lot of times they'll try to break in and they'll turn your site into a hub for porn or, just random foolery. I have heard of people actually breaking into your website and try to sell it back to you. Like, basically, like hijacking your website and selling it back to you for a higher, like, oh, we'll give you access back or whatever. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, I hope I gave you some really good advice on what to do. And if you need, you want to go in a little bit deeper and you have some questions, you can reach out to me, of course, at info@janaenicole.com. I had a funny thing. It was so funny that just this week I was on Instagram and, just looking at pictures and things like that because I want to really up my Instagram game. And I was just trying to see different brands that are really doing well and, whose Instagram storyboards, so to speak, that I like and I thought were really cool. So I had ran across the doux. It's a hair company that has its own product. And I had ran across them on Pinterest probably like a year ago. And I really liked their branding. I thought it was really cool. It really resonated with me. So it's the doux, the DOUX, doux spelled like do. So I had went on her Instagram and I was like going through her feed and then one picture popped out to me. It was a picture of her with her. She has a signature headband that she sells on her Instagram and on her website. And it was a picture, it was a side-by-side picture. It was a picture of another girl with almost identical pose, the same exact imaging that she had in her picture. So I clicked on it to see what that was about. And this chick on the other side of the picture had actually kind of hijacked her branding. She just basically stole the girl's whole identity. The picture was, she had almost the exact shade of lipstick. She had the same shaped glasses. Everything in that picture. I mean, you would think that they were twins in the pictures. I thought maybe it was just some kind of stunt that she was doing with her business. But come to find out, the other chick had basically was in another country and she had saw her product or whatever. And she just knocked it off. She was selling the exact same product. It was a different kind of fabric or whatever. You could tell that it was very similar to her product. She posed her hairstyle the same, y'all. She put the same kind of glasses, the same makeup. She had even tied the little hairband exactly the same as this girl had. I was like, You got the unmitigated gall to get on here and be selling the exact same thing. Now, what they say, imitation is flattery or something to that effect. It's one thing to imitate somebody's brand or something like that. It's one thing to imitate them, but to just do a total, like, just totally steal somebody's idea. She totally stole the girl's idea. Not just her look, but her actual product. She made a product almost exactly like hers. And I just was like, you know what? That's just too much. It's too much. And y'all, you know how I feel about my black business. It was a black girl that did it to another black girl. Yeah, one of them, I think the original girl lives in Germany. But the other girl, I don't forgot where she was at. But it just to see that, like, really? This what we doing, black girls around the world? We just gonna just straight bite off somebody else's idea and just run down the street with it? That's not cool. So fast forward about 2 days after that, I go on Instagram and I search my hashtag, which, you know, I registered my own hashtag, job optional hashtag. Excuse me, I'm all over the place. Hashtag job optional, because that's my podcast, job optional podcast. So I registered my hashtag. So I went on Instagram once again, and I just was just to see. After I saw her situation, I just went to see, make sure ain't nobody biting off me. Here I go scrolling through the news feed. The first thing I see is my logo. Now y'all know I know my logo. I made it myself. I'm not a baller yet that I can afford to hire a graphic designer to make my logo. I love my little logo because I made it. So I know what it looks like when I see it. I click on it. It's some white dude that then stole my logo and used it on Instagram as like an inspirational quote. Right? And he got like 23 likes on it. People talking about, oh, nice, this is cute. I'm like, really? You just on Google job optional, my logo came up, so you just gonna use it willy-nilly like you came up with it. You ain't give credit. You didn't say, oh, this is so-and-so. I really like this, so I shared it. No, you just gonna roll with it like it's your artwork that you made. So I didn't want to get ratchet on Instagram. So all I did was, y'all, I held it together. I just said, I made a comment on his post and said, what did I say? Oh, flattered. And I put like a little smiley face with some sunglasses on, like, no shade, I see you. And that was it. I left it at that. So I don't know if anybody else commented or anything like that. But I left it like that. Like, yeah, I see the shade is real. Whatever. I just put my little smiley face with the shades on. Like, it's cool. I'm flattered, basically. And I left it at that. So, having said all of that, and I meant to, but for some reason, I just never did go back and change that Instagram, that image and put my watermark on it. I done gave up on it now, and it's out there. Going forward, make sure that you put a watermark on your pictures, because this thing happens. So that if they do want to use it, at least they're going to see where it came from. So just think, if he'd used my job optional and I'd had my little Janae Nicole somewhere on there, he wouldn't have used it. And if he did use it, people would have known he got it from me. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Is what's done is done. But that's one thing to look out for. So when you are doing your pictures and any of your logos and things like that, make sure that you try to put a watermark on them or something to notify, something that shows that it's your brand. That was a good lesson for me to learn, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. Ways that you can find if people stole your stuff. Just do like I did, a simple hashtag search. You can also use some social listening tools like Google Alerts or Mention app, and things like that. And what, like I said, and just Google yourself because I Google myself on a regular. I think it's just to see how I'm doing, like what's going on with my name out there, if anything comes up, that sort of thing. So, this is things that you can do to protect your brand, keep people from stealing your ideas and things of that nature. It's sad that you got to put these measures in place, but that's the world that we live in. People are just not going to be honest for the sake of being honest. And it is what it is, girls. So, you can reach me at info@janaenicole.com. I'm always on social media, so any Facebook, Twitter, that sort of thing. You can reach me. I'll holla. Know that you are loved. All right, girls.